Well, a mental health disorder or an illness is a combination of different impairments in functioning. And so there may be impairments in impulse control, frustration tolerance, judgment, planning, anticipation of consequences, a whole wide range of functions that helps us deal with everyday life. When there's a mental illness, people have specific impairments in different areas, and that's where the diagnoses come from.
Well, I think that social media plays a big part in a lot of the kids today and how they react to social media, whether they realize it or not. Everything that they see on social media somehow affects them and may give them some sort of either anxiety or feel that peer pressure that they wouldn't normally feel if they didn't have that social media constantly pounding them.
Social media plays a big factor only because with Instagram, for instance, there's tons of people like thinking about their body image and they're trying to compare themselves to actors, actresses, models, anything like that. And if they don't look a certain way or feel a certain way about themselves, they really play down and they beat themselves up about them, going into like a deeper state of depression that they have to look or act a certain way to please people.
The most common reasons are stress, trauma, and genetics. One can inherit certain types of mental illnesses. Because one parent has a mental illness doesn't necessarily mean a child will have that. But they're at higher risk for having it, and the more mental illness there is in a family, the higher risk it is for someone to get a mental illness. They can also be reactions to significant trauma. They can be reactions to use of drugs and alcohol. They can be reactions to parents' divorce. They can be reactions to a wide range of things that happen in life.
I've not been taught mental disorders and illness at school, but I think we should learn it so we know those people and how we can help them.
I think that it would be useful to take a class that would help with that, because it would give people that don't have mental disorders an insight of what the people might be dealing with and how we could help.
I think a good age to learn about the mental health illnesses is as early as possible. I think it should be presented to the students early on, even in elementary school, and then at least give them a general idea, because it is so prevalent in our society today. And then I think it should be touched on every single year throughout their high school career, just to keep the awareness out there and to make sure that everybody knows that it is important and it is very real and it's not something that should be ignored.
How we can help a mental disorder and illness is we can bring them back to the happy times and to make them happy. For example, we can talk about what we're going to do in the future and how you didn't do something now, but you're going to do it later.
One of my brothers has ADHD and my other brother has ADD, so I really don't do much because they have a way to cope with it. But me personally, if they're having a breakdown or something, I just let them be and let them cool down, and when they're feeling better, then I go and talk to them and see how they're doing.
So dancers with mental health and illnesses, I tend to probably stand in the back of a classroom and kind of act like nothing's wrong. So as a dance teacher, I can kind of notice little things like that, and I'll just tend to them a little bit more, not singling them out, but asking them if they're okay, talking about their day, trying to make them feel loved in the studio environment and not really down, I guess,
Well, as a society, we need to refund mental health services. If you go back 20, 30 years, we had a lot of different types of programs. We had lots of different types of hospitals. We had private programs. We had state oriented programs, there were a tremendous number of programs available to help people that people could go get help. And it was seen as an important part of society. Over the last 30 years, especially, there has been a reduction in mental health services throughout this country. There's no longer placements for people to go to that have serious mental health issues, and so we have an increase in homelessness, and we have an increase in that. And all of that starts earlier on if we're able to provide high school students with access to help whenever they want it, whenever they need it, and the quality of help and extent of help they need, then there won't be so many serious problems.